Hey guys, welcome back. It's Mystic Games. Today we're going to be talking about Against the Storm, the update 1.9. I got a little bit distracted by the maggots in the background. I was looking at the farm photo. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting screenshot we have. We have a giant insect coming out of a geyser, spring, something like that. And then to the left of it, you have the new salt and insect farm, which is pretty nasty looking. Looks like giant maggots. Anywho, greetings, Viceroy. Much like Mariah Carey, already playing from the grocery store speakers. All I want for Christmas, guys. We too couldn't wait to bring holiday gifts early. Over the past several weeks, we've been analyzing your feedback and iterating behind the scenes. We've added new content and wrapped it all today's BrineWorks update. So this is really cool because it's just an update and they're giving some cool stuff to play with. So I appreciate that. I always like when developers update their games. So what's new? The Brine Works. It gives you Salt and Insects. Two new dangerous glade events, Lurker and Petrified Gargoyle. We also have special offers at Traders. That's interesting. We have a new Forbidden Glade event that is a small Stormforge. That's interesting as well. Um, I'm gonna have to play again. I haven't played in a minute. I'm gonna have to play again to see what those are. I'd like to get those and actually use them. Um, 9 new Stormforge versions of existing cornerstones. That makes that map a little bit more fun. New legendary cornerstone and 2 new perks. I wonder what those are. Maybe we'll see down below. Improvements to the encyclopedia. Random main menu skin. Okay, yeah, definitely have to log in to check that one out. And more. Continue reading for our design notes, full changelog information. Uh, yeah, I might have been in the middle of a game and I just totally forgot. Developer notes. Our initial goal today was to address several frequently mentioned suggestions. Um, all right, they're pretty much just saying we're gonna do some things, but it just didn't seem like enough, so we waited and did more things, which is obviously good. Let's start with the most exciting addition to the new Glade events. We're introducing 3 in total. 2 dangerous ones, the Lurker and the Petrified, and Forbidden one. I'm intrigued on the small Stormforge. If you choose to purify the pond where the Lurker resides, it will transform into a deep pond, which has more charge than a large pond, yields more fish per charge, and has a 50% chance to also provide algae and skills. The Petrified Gargoyle, which I'm assuming is above us here in this picture. It looks like the Petrified Gargoyle. We saw the Lurker in the above photo, which was that nasty looking green worm. You decide to turn the possessed statue into decoration, granting a new effect, cheaper rain engine installation, and increased rainwater production. Well, that's actually a pretty nice statue then, especially if you want to use rain power. On harder difficulties, rain power is definitely useful. You have to make sure you can manage the double-edged sword though. By using the small Stormforge, okay, let's see. I don't think they have the picture there. They're showing the salt thing. You can upgrade 1 random cornerstone to Stormforge rarity or gain a new Stormforge cornerstone if none of the current perks are eligible. I'm really interested to see how that works. I'm going to have to play a game just to use the small Stormforge. I'm really intrigued by that. That seems like it could be really strong because there's some really good Stormforged things that you can do here. Well, that's not all. We also have the Brine Works, which is up above. We have our maggots and our lovely salt there. We add this building because until now, both of the resources have been very few sources, despite being valuable ingredients in many recipes. The well, that's helpful then. I was going to say, is salt really that useful? I have to really think about that. The Brine Works should also introduce some interesting new options for the farming branch of the game, such as the ability to produce meat-based foods primarily using a farm, which wasn't really possible before. Yes. Yeah, actually, you know what? That's actually crazy because now you can get Brine Works with lizards, and you can feed them much easier. Anyone that's like a meat-based diet, and the lizards come to mind first, the Brine Works actually probably is a really good option. The only other way to get insects from a farm was to get the trader upgrade that would give you insects with mushrooms, and you also needed the mushroom upgrade for your farm. So, as you can see, we really focus around making certain playstyles more appealing, which is great. Being able to do different things is awesome. Each trader who visits your settlement will bring one random perk or blueprint at a 50% discount. That is actually super cool. I like that. Um, I like the special offers thing. I think that's awesome. Like you just get a random selection that's 50% discounted because you might take something that you would normally not take because you either don't think it's good or it's not worth the value, and you might take something that is less expensive to get it just because, and it might change your play style, which I think that's really awesome. Adjust your play style slightly to match that perk. Yeah, well, and they actually say it right here. For others, it might be a niche perk you never considered. But for just 5 or 10 amber, you might give it a try. Even exactly, that's what I was just saying. That's a great idea just for improvement to gameplay and to make people change things that they might not normally do. I would actually be cool if they did that with items as well. And they put a marker on it, like in the picture above you have Old Farloff. It'd be cool if like on the gears it would say like minus 50%. I'm just using that one as the example, right? And that's the one you roll, because that would actually be an interesting way to do that too, is to give resources that way. And you could actually make a perk that actually reduces the items, like you get additional reduction, and you could even go a whole different way. You could say 20% off. You know what I mean? Like get a perk that every time you go to get a trader, the trader will offer 2 items with 20% off and like a perk for 20% off or 25% off. That would be actually an interesting perk to get too. I would actually highly um, appreciate a perk like that, especially if it was in the legendary category. Um, I think that would be really cool. Focusing primarily on if it was a legendary perk, that would probably be like 50% on 2 items, addition like one perk and at least 2 items probably would still be okay. Along with 2 new rare perks sold by traders, one that gives you the ability to remove hunger stacks, and another that reveals the locations of a nearby abandoned cache. New perks. One that gives you the ability to remove hunger stacks. That seems really nice. Um, Sorry, I'm a little tired today. I'm doing this very late. This is like right before my bedtime here. And another that reveals the location of a nearby abandoned cache. I'm not sure how useful the abandoned cache would be. If it's a one-time, if it's a perk and it only shows you, that's weird. I don't see that being super useful. I feel like the hunger one would be, like a permanent game changing. Well, I guess if it's a one-time remove, it doesn't say it slows hunger. It says it removes it. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a big. I don't know if either of the. I feel like those are really niche uh, cornerstones and perks. The legendary cornerstone reduces hostility added by beaver villagers to 0. Interesting. And they also buff. They said they buffed some of the weaker ones overall, but these 3 are new. Sorry, let me redo this. I'm really like metagaming right now in my mind how to use these instead of talking. We've added 1 legendary cornerstone that reduces the amount of hostility added by beaver villagers to 0. That seems really good because then you can just stack beavers and you really don't get a negative penalty for it. You could actually do that cornerstone with every species too. Obviously, you can't do it with every uh, one, but you could give each individual species a new legendary cornerstone that reduces hostility by their their hostility by 0. I think uh, that could be a normal cornerstone that you could do, and it would be beneficial. It would be really cool too because you could essentially pick a species that you like And if you randomly get that cornerstone, you can just negate their hostility, which is really strong. That's a really strong cornerstone. Especially if you, obviously if you have beavers, but I feel like they really should do that for every species. That'd be my recommendation if they ever watch my videos. Along with two new rare perks, I don't see these being good. Hunger stacks and revealed location. Those are like emergencies. Like this is gonna be a victory choice, right? You're gonna take this to help get your bar done. So that seems okay. I mean, it could pull you out of a fail, I guess. You know, by giving you one last glade to go to essentially win. This one, removing hunger stacks, is really good in the situation that you're starving, I guess. But I just don't see that one being that. Like, for a perk, I wouldn't get that. I'd have to really be in a bad spot and somehow have money for me to pick that one. I feel like there's other options that are more optimal. That's something they're probably gonna have to redo. I don't see that being a permanently good perk. You'd have to remove hunger stacks and then have like a passive where it like reduces the consumption or something. I feel like that's what would make that a better permanent perk. Perks that generally do one thing and then they go away to me are not that good. You want perks to be a consistent bonus most of the time. Nothing really here. They changed the outlook of the encyclopedia. It does look nicer just from the quick look of it. We introduced a random option for the main menu skin, adding a farm ranging indicator when placing fertile fields in the bamboo biome. Uh, implemented warnings for orders requiring buildings you don't have, and added a setting that remembers internal storage preferences between settlements. Okay, I mean that's really a min-maxing thing there. Lastly, as always, this update includes a variety of bug fixes. Blah 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 blah. Perfect. All right, let's just take a quick look here. We already talked about the lurker. If you guys want to read that, I'll highlight it. I'm just going to go down and kind of highlight things. We have Petrified Gargoyle. That one's the one that gives you rainwater bonuses. You have the Small Stormforge, which essentially makes a Stormforged perk, upgrades one, or gives you a new one, depending on what you want. The brine work seems interesting with the salt and the insects. A good way for meat eaters to have a good source of food in fertile soil maps. Added special offers to traders. Traders will now offer one random perk or blueprint and a 50% discount. I really feel like they should do a additional perk that gives you this for items. You could even do one that just gives it, 2 items for 50% off for every trader too. Special offers are unlocked via a new Smoldering City upgrade. Special offers are unlocked. Okay, so it's a Smoldering City upgrade you have to purchase to get this 50% discount. Again, make a perk for that too. I think that's a great idea. Make a perk and then make items, not just the blueprints and perks, discounted. And only like 2 random ones. I think that's a cool idea. Friends of the Forest, super awesome, seems good. These two I don't see. Okay, let's read emergency rations. You gain an active ability that removes 1 stack of hunger effect from all villagers. This ability can be used from the main warehouse and has 3 uses. Okay. I should have read this before I talked so much. This is not horrible because you can pick when to use it. I forgive you, emergency rations. You are not bad at all. I was going to say, like, that's a really, really specific perk that you would have to get, and then you might not even need it. You know what I mean? Like, you would only buy it when you needed it. So if it didn't pop up when you needed it, it'd feel really bad when it was in your store. But that's a good thing because you can use it whenever you want. So you can this is actually a very nice perk, but I plan on potentially losing perk, or I'm going to use it strategically to not lose, to set, like maybe take a season to kind of almost fail eating, in a sense, like not controlling that very well, and then using this to offset it so that you can focus on something else. This is actually a really cool, now that I'm reading, this is a really cool gameplay option for a perk. Anyways, I'm going to stop fanboying. I just think that's really cool. This really is going to change gameplay right here. This can be used in a lot of different ways, I think, to actually affect your gameplay in multiple ways. Added 9 new Stormforged versions. So we have the Royal Training Guard. These are just better versions. I'll let you guys read each of these. I'm not a big fan of just quick looking through as I'm reading them. I don't think any of these are really. This is nice. The wood production one, there's no negative effect anymore. I would actually probably take that if I saw it. If I needed wood, especially in maps where wood's scarce, that's a pretty good upgrade. That could be okay if you have packed goods. Guild Catalog, you get 1 additional perk or blueprint, but you also gain the ability to actively summon a trader to your settlement. This can be used 5 times. That is insanely good. You could just, as long as you get like a decent, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. By year 3, you're probably pretty, if you're doing well, you're probably doing well, and you could probably actually make really good use of the Guild Catalog. And you could probably almost burn 2 to 3 uses right there, and you could potentially set yourself up very well with a bunch of perks and abilities. So I like that. The court blueprint is just unlocked. That's good. Increase the trade value of dye. That's probably good. It's probably weak. Rebalanced multiple cornerstones. I don't like dye. I'm not a big fan of dye. Rebalance multiple. Lower the requirement for all the upgraded houses from 5 to 3. Lower the number of tools given per discovered glade from 15 to 10. Change the rarity of the cornerstone to epic from legendary. Change the rarity of this cornerstone to epic from legendary. Increase the chance of doubling production from 25 to 33. I like that. Removed the drawbacks. I'd actually have to reread this. I did a cornerstones video a long time ago. I probably should update that and actually go through them again. This cornerstone now also affects rainwater production and not only recipes that use rainwater. Oh, that's pretty good then. This cornerstone's gone. Workers' rations. Okay, well, okay, bye. I don't think that was a very good one anyways. The fluff beaks start well-being to 49% from 50% to prevent its positive effect from being activated and displayed for a very short time at the beginning of the first year. Added the fishing hut blueprint to Zargs and Zaltzware. That's cool. That will give you an early fishing hut access. Changed the building category of the Forester's Hut to Resource Acquisition. Removed the Soil Reclamation Forest Mystery from Bamboo Flats. Rebalanced the Stormforged version of the Mushroom Seedlings Cornerstone. It now adds 2-star mushrooms to all instead of 3. Wasn't it already 2 stars? The normal Mushroom Seedling Cornerstone adds 2-star mushroom recipes to the farms. And increases planting and harvesting speed by 50%. So they took it back down and then increased the planting and harvesting speed. So you're pretty much going to get free mushrooms if you get the Stormforged Mushroom Seedlings Cornerstone. I'm a big fan of that Cornerstone too. I think it's really good. Obviously you have to get it, but there's a lot of good combos with Zorg in particular. The game now selects the starting firekeeper from all species available at the beginning of a settlement, including those from the starting caravan and additional sources such as embarkation bonuses or cycle effects. I believe they already were doing that. Added the Academy blueprint to... that one, logically in my brain, isn't calculating. If someone can explain that to me in the comments, I would appreciate it. I'm not too big on UI improvements. If you guys want to read that, you know, freeze the video. I'll move down very slowly. Um, oh, you know what? Right here, this is the one that as I'm reading them as I go down, I like this one. Coastal Grove trees are really hard to differentiate, in my opinion, so I do appreciate that one. Anyways, alright. And it's pretty much just going to say that your settlement, that if you were playing one, is deleted. And you normally get resources for this and stuff. Anyways, guys, that's it for the patch notes. I don't want to spend too long on there. You could pause if you want to read anything. I didn't go over it. Um, but a lot of this looks really cool. I'm just glad that they do little updates like this every once in a while to just give us things. Big props to Aramite Games on that one. Um, really appreciate it, and I want to. It's hooded. I want to say Hooded Horse as well. Um, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. I know I don't upload as much lately. Been very busy with work. Got a promotion. All right, later, guys.